Welcome. Today's story is titled The Silence of the Zombies, the Last Echo of Despair. Let's begin. Silence reigned supreme, a heavy silence that screamed of absence. I am Elias, a linguistics professor turned ghost in my abandoned apartment in downtown Cairo. 6 weeks have passed since the start of the unjustified violence syndrome, which turned humans into bloodthirsty monsters. I saw some of them staring at my door, their eyes white and sunken, their mouths opening and closing on nothing. Food was running out, and I knew that going outside meant death. The nightmare began with a slight scratch on the door of my 5th-floor apartment. The blood froze in my veins. It wasn't the wind, it was deliberate. The glass doors opened with difficulty, revealing deserted streets, but they were not completely empty. The foul smell of death filled the air. I gripped the iron bar tightly and headed toward the supermarket. The scratching grew louder, then hesitant knocks, followed by buzzing sounds, nails scraping against wood, and sticky noises seeping through the cracks. There wasn't much left, but I wasn't alone. I heard a noise behind me. I turned to see it. It wasn't a normal zombie. It was a mutant, huge, with dark green skin and long arms ending in sharp claws. Its eyes glowed red in the darkness. It was faster and stronger. They were trying to get in. I rushed to barricade the door with any heavy furniture I could find, my hands shaking. My head hit the floor, and I felt dizzy. I opened my eyes to see the mutant fall, a bullet in his head. They were soldiers. "We are a search team from the provisional government," said their leader, Colonel Fairs. We told them our story, and they listened intently, especially when I mentioned my specialty in linguistics and Sarah's fighting skills. We arrived at an underground base, a complex network of tunnels and fortified rooms. "It appeared recently from an isolated area we haven't reached yet," said one of the scientists anxiously. I spent my days working with scientists, trying to analyze the sounds of the zombies. Sarah, an expert with a rifle and tracking zombies, agreed. Her presence gave me strength I didn't realize I was missing. I saw her. A girl carrying an old rifle named Sarah. It can disable it, but it will destroy the base. The roar, I'll try to get his attention. We'll turn it up to full volume and direct it toward one tunnel. He'll follow it. Then you can activate the bomb. She was pale, but her eyes were sharp and full of determination. The lights were flashing, and soldiers were running around. "We're under attack," said Colonel Fairs. "Something has breached the outer defenses. It's not a normal zombie ... It's legendary." Everything was quiet. "Elias," I heard Sarah's voice. She was also looking for supplies, and like her, I was alone. I saw it. Huge, black, with 4 limbs, its eyes glowing red. It was tearing the soldiers apart, one by one. I saw its mouth open to reveal sharp teeth. The end, I closed my eyes. It's working. "It's heading toward the tunnel," Sarah shouted. It had changed form, but it was still there, lurking around every corner, waiting for the last echo of calm to bring the noise back again. The silence this time was different, a silence that told us that the real horror had not yet begun. It was the first time they had come this close to my isolated apartment. It had previously been a gathering point for survivors. We decided to go. The corridors were filled with their frightening sounds day and night, moans, muffled murmurs, shuffling feet, and those sticky noises. One night, I heard a baby crying, then screaming. Hope and fear overwhelmed me. I crept toward the door. The sound was coming from the floor above. We heard heavy dragging sounds from deep within the tunnels, then flashlights and moving shadows. They weren't zombies. We sneaked through deserted streets, seeing wrecked cars and shops. A herd of zombies surrounded us in a narrow alley. I fought with an iron bar while Sarah fired skillfully until she ran out of ammunition. We barely made our way through. The screaming stopped suddenly, followed by the sound of breaking bones. I realized it was a trap. They were exploiting what little humanity I had left. The next day, silence returned, but it was a heavy silence filled with panic and despair. I was completely alone. My need for food and water grew worse. I decided to take a risk at dawn and sneak into the nearby supermarket. When I slowly opened the door to my apartment, stale air with the smell of mold and death seeped in. I saw distorted human shadows moving in the hallway. I descended the stairs silently, terrified by the bloodstains and the remains of things I don't want to remember. The building was a huge graveyard. On the ground floor, the main entrance was fortified, but the metal panels were slightly bent. I arrived at the supermarket with its door smashed and shelves looted. It lunged at me with astonishing speed. A powerful punch hit me in the stomach, knocking me to the ground. But the end did not come. I heard a loud gunshot. I offered to take her back to my apartment. I see larger groups of them gathering, heading south, Sarah said one day, pointing to Saladin's castle. The journey was fraught with danger. We need a safe place, I said. There's an old subway station. We snuck into the abandoned subway station, dark and damp. It seemed safe, but we weren't alone. The lights revealed a group of humans wearing protective clothing and carrying advanced weapons. We'll take you with us, Colonel Fair said. You may be useful. These are humanity's last strongholds. Sarah and I agreed. Once I heard a new sound in the recordings, a deep roar, followed by a strange echo coming from deep underground. The roar continued to appear intermittently, causing terror. One night, I heard a terrifying human scream. I rushed to the operations room. The screen showed huge shadows moving at tremendous speed. The metal doors shook violently. "We can't stop it," one of the soldiers shouted. "We have an electromagnetic bomb," Colonel Fair said desperately. "We won't make it to the evacuation room in time," said Sarah. "Yes," I said as I tried to get up. "Where are we?" "I don't know," Sarah said. "But we're alive. We didn't know if the outside world had changed, or if there were other survivors. But we knew one thing, the horror wasn't over." If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel to get all the latest updates.